I held the envelope in my hand longer than necessary, letting its weight sink in. Inside were the divorce papers, crisp, official, final. Months of frustration, silent arguments, and unmet expectations boiled quietly beneath the surface. And tonight I had decided, without theatrics, that the truth needed to be delivered. I had considered waiting. I had considered a quiet conversation at home, a simple handover. But I knew her. Lena would never truly face it in private. The ordinary backdrop of her date would strip away pretenses in a way that mattered. It was not about revenge. It was about clarity, exposure, and finally, honesty. The restaurant was softly lit, ambient chatter floating across the tables. Couples leaned close. Servers navigated between them with practiced precision. Everything was ordinary. Everything around her felt safe, controlled. And that was exactly why it was the right place. I spotted her immediately. Across the table from a man whose smile was easy, effortless. Lena laughed at something he said, her hair catching the low light. For a moment I felt a pang, a memory of quieter, happier times. But I pushed it down. This was no longer about nostalgia. I walked to the table with the envelope hidden in my coat pocket, each step measured. I felt the eyes of strangers on me, but I did not care. My own heartbeat was louder than anything else. Lena's companion looked up, curious. Lena's eyes met mine for a fraction of a second. Recognition, surprise, maybe irritation, it passed quickly, replaced by a smile that no longer reached her eyes. "Lena," I said quietly, voice steady, controlled. She froze mid-laugh. Her companion tilted his head, confused, glancing between us. I reached into my pocket and slid the envelope across the table toward her. The papers were heavy with meaning, yet I placed them gently, deliberately. No flourish, no accusation, just fact. Her hand hovered over them. I saw her pause, hesitation flickering across her expression. The companion leaned forward slightly. "Everything okay?" he asked, voice cautious, polite. "Yes," she said, but it was clipped, unnatural. Her fingers finally closed around the envelope, lingering just above the table as though touching. It might summon explanation or apology. I did not speak further. I did not need to. Silence carried more weight than any words I could muster. Around us, the restaurant continued. The clatter of plates, laughter from another table, the low hum of conversation. Life went on as if nothing had changed. And yet for Lena, everything had. Her composure wavered just slightly. A sharp intake of breath, a blink too long, a tightened grip on the envelope. She looked at me, not angrily, not pleadingly, but with a sudden awareness that the carefully constructed narrative she had maintained for months had collided with reality. I remembered our early days together, how laughter came easily, how silence had been comfortable. But this moment was nothing like that. It was exposure, accountability, a reckoning she had evaded through distance, charm, distraction. Her companion shifted, sensing the change. I saw the unease ripple. Through him subtly and unspoken, understanding that something heavier than ordinary conflict was in the air. Lena's eyes darted toward him briefly as if measuring the damage, calculating the story she would tell. And then, almost imperceptibly, she looked back at me. Her shoulders slumped. Confidence that had been so deliberate moments before was gone. The envelope was a physical barrier, but it was also a mirror. She could see her choices reflected there, unvarnished. I felt a quiet release. Not triumph, not vindication, just relief. The weight I had carried for months lightened slightly. Delivering the truth was never about spectacle. It was about facing reality in full and allowing her to do the same. She did not speak. She did not ask for explanation. She did not attempt to protest. The papers were hers now. And so was the understanding that the balance of control had shifted, Quietly but undeniably, I stood, paused. The envelope remained in her hands, heavy with implications, legal and emotional. I did not need to say anything more. The moment itself was sufficient, charged with consequence and clarity. "Take care," I said softly, voice even, without trace of malice. And then I walked away, past tables, past couples, past life continuing as it always did. Outside, the air was cool, the city lights blurred in the rain. I felt steadier than I had in months. Not victorious, not cruel, just resolved. Behind me, Lena sat, still clutching the papers, processing, confronting herself in a way she had avoided for too long. Around her, strangers moved in ordinary rhythm, unaware of the personal reckoning unfolding at their table. I did not look back. The story we had shared had ended not with anger or spectacle, but with quiet acknowledgement. The truth had been delivered, dignity retained, consequences present. Life would continue, but differently. We would each carry forward with the weight of reality, and that alone was enough.